I truly believe that luck is when preparation finds opportunity.
You took all the lessons and things that you've learned as a professional soccer player and then just built yourself up into this extraordinary CEO, and now you're growing, not just in Tapi, but also Banana Boost.
Being a goalie, we have to have resilience. Any other player, they can miss a shot, fall on the ground, and you got all your teammates to support. The goalie is the player that can't make mistakes. You get scored. It's less than 1% that can make a living out of being a soccer player in Brazil. You could start understanding it doesn't depend only on you. You're like waiting for the situations in the game to happen and you make a save or you can be seen in the game. Looking at that 1%, a lot of things that has to come together.
Only 3% in New York stay in business, but Tapi's been very successful. What's the secret?
Oh, there's a little mix for that.
Pedro?
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, I appreciate it. We're just gonna get right into it.
Okay, let's dive it.
Only 3% of businesses in New York stay in business, but Tapi's been very successful. What's the secret?
New York is a challenging space, a challenging city. Every restaurant out of 10, 8, 7 closes in the first year. So we're already 7 years in the business, and New York has that saying, if you make it there, you can make it anywhere. And for us, it's a pleasure to be in New York, starting the business in New York and being challenged every day. Being in Miami, for example, as well, we have to be our best version, because if not,
there's a lot of competition in New York.
A lot of competition,
you know,
exactly.
and there's people from all over, all walks of life in New York.
Exactly.
And so I think you're right. And I think that statement holds very true. Like, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. And I think that's safe to say in any industry.
Basically, you have people all around the world away from your native city, your native culture, in putting their effort. So the level of service is something I love to talk about, comes high naturally, you know? And it's similar in Brazil, where I lived. Like my last 12 years before coming to the US was in São Paulo. So we have people all around Brazil going to São Paulo because there is where the big companies are, the opportunities, and that makes the level of service in any segment, the restaurant, but any company or any industry, level up. You know?
It's work ethic. I think people are just hustlers, you know, and I'm sure São Paulo is the same way. Like, it's like New Yorkers, everyone's a hustler. People go there to build something. Most people that go there come from nothing to become something, right? And to make something out of nothing, it takes a lot of hard work and dedication and a discipline and a work ethic that not everybody has.
And of course, you have to balance that, because if not, depending on how many years you stay in New York, you can change a little bit of what you were before, you know?
So you were a professional soccer player before this, though. Let's talk about
Let's go back a little bit.
Your old life that you left behind. Tell me a little bit about that. How did you get into it? Where did you grow up? How did soccer come about?
Yeah, that's awesome. So basically, I was born in Brazil, in Rio de Janeiro. From 3 to 9, I actually came to live in the U.S. My father came to study in Atlanta, Georgia.
How was that? Do you remember moving here?
Yeah, I remember. Like from 3 to 9, of course, 3 years too young, but my first language was English, because...
Yeah, 3 is like,
3 is where I'm learning Portuguese, and I came here. So when I go back to Brazil when I was 9 to 10, basically, I didn't even know how to speak Portuguese.
Wow.
Because I understood, because my parents talked with me. But I came back to Brazil, I needed to learn Portuguese. And sports as a whole, like swimming and playing soccer, was already like a part of me since I was young. And my mother always said, look, you can do any sports you want, but swimming, you're gonna do until you're 12, and then you can decide. So when I hit 12 years old, I decided to play soccer. I was already in Brazil, and
soccer is very big in Brazil.
It's the biggest sport.
Okay.
Almost every boy, different from here in the U.S. You have a lot of girls playing soccer. In Brazil, it's more, you see like the boys playing as a dream to become a soccer player. But at the same time, it's a dream that it's really, really challenging. And because of the amount of people, the amount of players you have, it's less than 1% that can make a living out of being a soccer player in Brazil. So you have 99% not succeeding or being challenged, like during their career, they give up a lot of things to be a soccer player, and they can't even afford, you know, what people think about as a soccer player. Oh, you're gonna have fame, gonna have money. That's less than 1%.
Wow.
So I grew up in a family that was a middle class. I studied. I had that possibility of having an education on the side, and that's something in Brazil like the majority doesn't have, because if you start playing soccer, you want to be a soccer player, you start at 10, 12, and you normally can't study because the trainings and the public schools in Brazil are so, unfortunately, so low low in quality.
Mm-hmm.
So people just decided to play soccer, and then when they realize that they're not hitting the 1%, they don't have a plan B.
They don't have anything to fall back on.
Exactly. And even with my knowledge that I had, I still believe that I could get that 1%. So soccer, I focused in soccer from 12 to 22. I got professionalized when I was 17.
Wow.
And just going back on being a goalkeeper, normally goalkeeper is the player that doesn't go well on the line, and they say, look, go play as a goalie.
Mm-hmm.
But early on when I was 11, I saw that it was a position that I already loved. I knew how to play on as a striker, for example, but I love the responsibility, you know?
Okay.
Like the goalie is the player that can't make mistakes. If you do a mistake, you get scored.
Right.
Any other player, they can hit the ball, they can miss a shot, they can fall on the ground, and you got all your teammates to support.
Everything rides on you.
Exactly. You have a big responsibility and commitment, and that's something that I truly loved about it.
What did you study? You said you were still going to school.
Yeah, I went to school. When I decided to go to college, when I was 18, I was still, of course, playing. Everybody like around sports, they normally do physical education. They're involved with sports. They want to become a coach after their career, or they want to open a gym or something like that.
Something with physical body and movement,
physical
right?
Body movement, physical therapy or something. But I decided to look up above that, like over that, and I got to marketing.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't even know what marketing was. And I started to read about it. I saw like business school, I saw international relations, because I always had the English in my advantage because I lived here. So when I went back to Brazil, English was always like something different towards everybody else. So I even looked in international relationship business school. But marketing was something that popped up, and I said, look, if I stop my career afterwards, I can like get a brand, a sports brand, or be involved with sports.
So that's where you were going with that. That's what you were thinking, a sports brand.
A sports brand,
okay.
Being involved with sports, but looking at the business side, looking at the marketing side,
okay.
Trying to understand more like consumer behavior, getting you see like big brands like Adidas, Nike. You said, okay, I want to be involved with that. Or even like sports entertainment, like big events. You had the Olympic Games in Brazil, the World Cup, all those things like brought to me like possibilities, you know? So I was fortunate that even playing, I continued to study. So I was playing in Rio de Janeiro. Then I went to play in the Northeast. I transferred my university. I got the possibility to continue to study at the Northeast in Aracaju. And then I went to the Santa Catarina. I transferred my graduation.
And you were moving because you were playing.
I was playing.
They were moving you around.
Yeah.
So then you had to move schools doing so.
Exactly.
But you kept doing both consecutively, which is
studying at night.
Not normal.
Not normal.
Okay.
Like practicing during the day, morning, afternoon, studying at night, doing exams.
Where did this discipline come from at this age? Because you're right, most people go all into sports when they go. You know, they don't just they don't try to do both together. Was it your parents? Was it you?
I think my parents, they of course they have a big role in that. They always let me and my brothers as well try to decide what we wanted, but they always said, look, you have the possibility to continue to study. You have to have a plan B. That's important for you because you can't put all your
eggs in one basket.
Exactly. And I think being a goalkeeper as well, looking at what I was living and being challenged every day since I was 12, it gave me like this physical, like mental strength to say, look, you have to have both paths walking together. And when you're inside like the soccer world, you can start understanding like it doesn't depend only on you. So that's where when I was like 21, 22, I started to understand, look, Pedro, you can practice, you can go good in games and etc. But it depends on the agent. It depends on, of course, the team that you're in, because there's a fun fact about being a goalie. You depend on the other striker to kick the ball in a speed that makes you do a save, or you depend on your last defender to do a penalty kick for you to get the possibility to save a penalty kick. You're like waiting for the situations in the game to happen.
To line up for you.
To line up and you make a save, or you can be seen in the game. So looking at that 1%, it's a lot of things that has to come together.
Wow. And
when I got to 22, I was graduating in marketing, and I could see like, Pedro, you need to try to focus in something that you have more control on. And that's where I shifted gears, shifted careers to marketing.
Were you burned out with soccer by that time?
I wasn't burned out. I had a lot of opportunities to choose where I wanted to go, like with this team, or, I have a proposal to go to this other team. I had to make a lot of decisions since I was a little kid. Like, imagine, my mom said, look, you can choose another sport just when you're 12. That's a moment that I was doing good in swimming. Mm-hmm. Like, I was like traveling around Brazil swimming for a really famous club called Flamengo. And I had to make a decision. Look, I'm going to stop with this, go to soccer, and then from soccer, understand that was what I wanted. So I didn't have parties when I was 15. Everybody going to parties and traveling. I couldn't travel. You know, I had games every weekend. My parents supported. They took me like 4 a.m. to go to the club because we were going to travel by bus like 6 hours to play a game when I was like 15 years old, you know? So all of those things together, I got to a point and said, okay, Pedro, you tried.
Yeah.
So when I took the decision, it was something...
You were ready for it then.
I was ready for it. I don't regret it at all. And I got a lot of lessons from sports that I bring with me. And I love to share with my teams.
Any of your siblings play sports?
Yeah, both my brothers. I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have another brother that's living in Rio de Janeiro. He's 2 years younger than me. He played professional as well, and he stopped because of a knee injury.
How many years did he play professional?
He played similar to what I played. He played until 2021.
It's a family of athletes.
Yeah.
How was Tapi founded, and what do you think you guys did differently along the journey that made it possible, aside from the work ethic?
Yeah, of course. Tapi, people normally think that we open in Brazil first.
It's a Brazilian word, right?
It's a Brazilian word. Basically, Tapi is a fast casual concept, Brazilian fast casual, 100% gluten-free concept. And we started out in 2017. It's a family, the founder actually is Roberto Simonson. Okay. So basically his wife was transferred to New York, and he was in the situation 2016 saying, look, my wife is working here, I'm a Brazilian. Let me enter the entrepreneur life. You know, he was a banker. So he got family friends investment and decided to open a tapioca sandwich place. called tapi.
Why gluten-free? What was the thing there?
Gluten-free actually came afterwards.
Okay.
So we didn't start out as a gluten-free concept.
But it happened by accident,
but naturally.
Because tapioca is gluten-free.
It's gluten-free. Like 3 years ago, we understood that our three main products, tapioca, açaí bowls, and pão de queijo. So tapi now it stands for tapioca, açaí, and pão de queijo. All three are naturally gluten-free.
Okay, so the first one is
T for tapioca sandwich.
Açaí, I know what açaí is, right? And then what's the third one?
Pão de queijo.
What is
so
that?
That's the Brazilian cheese bread.
Okay.
So it's like similar to a pão de bono, but it's a recipe, a more savory option.
Okay.
So it's a blend that we do, a special recipe with mozzarella, Parmesan, and Swiss cheese. So it's a little cheese ball, and it's made with tapioca as well.
Very good. Okay.
So all those three together, they're gluten-free. And 3 years ago, we understood that, like looking at the market, listening to our guests, we said, okay, there's a possibility here that we could transform the whole menu, because we had like a little cakes, chocolate chip cookie that weren't gluten-free. We had like little things complementary that weren't gluten-free. So we couldn't say that we were 100%. We look at as an opportunity and said, okay, let's dive into that and like put a
stamp on it
as a 100% gluten-free concept.
Right.
And that has been
probably a game changer.
Oh my God, game changer, because we have people coming all around, like in New York, from Brooklyn all the way to the Upper West Side, just because we're a safe space.
Yeah.
There's no cross-contamination. We go up to the point that if a customer comes in with a pizza or a bagel, we ask them to eat outside.
Oh, wow.
Because if they eat inside, there's a possibility of cross-contamination, like with my employees, getting their food, going to the trash. So even that makes it even more a safe space, you know?
You can find gluten-free restaurants all over the place these days, but it's hard to find a healthy gluten-free restaurant. Yeah. It's just like the whole vegan race that we used to have, right? Like,
exactly.
Not every vegan food is healthy. Yeah. Not every gluten-free food is actually healthy for you and have minimal ingredients and be good for you. You know, it's either packed with sugar or other fillers, and they call it gluten-free because there's no gluten in it. So it's true.
That's true.
But I've heard that your place is actually very healthy, gluten-free and
we bring the essence of Brazil. Like tapioca is a much healthier option towards wheat. So if you eat a sandwich with just a normal bread, if you eat it as a tapioca bread, let's say,
you'll be lean forever.
It's healthier. It's gluten-free and it's healthier. So the açaí, for example, it's a superfruit from the Amazon that we love to say that we bring the real açaí from Brazil, from Pará. So it's a little city inside a state in the Amazon. So unfortunately, here in the US, we see a lot of mixes. So a lot of places say, oh, we have açaí, but when you see they mix it with a lot of fruits.
Blended with other things.
It's blended, and you can even see options like it's ice cream painted purple, and they say it's açaí. You know?
Yeah.
So bringing the real thing, and we have other concepts that they have as well, açaí coming from Brazil because it's a Brazilian fruit, but that's something that we're proud of, like bringing to the U.S.
Bringing to the U.S. Very good.
And the pão de queijo is the same. It's a special recipe, and it's a little bit of all Brazil, you know, like the açaí is from the north, the tapioca is from the northeast, the pão de queijo is from Minas Gerais, so that's from the southeast. So it's a little...
Are you going to expand on this menu? Are you you're happy with it right now?
We're happy with it because at the same time, we want to focus on, like, we think for expansion, it's good to have like a direct and not complicate the menu. We already have a challenge every day, you can imagine. Like, people don't know what's a tapioca sandwich.
Right.
People don't know what's a pão de queijo. So if we keep it simple, it's easier for us to educate the guests. And normally people come for the açaí. That's something like more...
That's more common.
More common. Yeah. People already know what it is. They know it's a superfruit. They know there's antioxidants. They don't know where it came from normally, but they already have a sense of it. So that's our challenge every day, like to bring this new concept, this new option, being a Brazilian, like unique, fast casual to the market. You know?
I love it.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you've had any moments where things just seemed to line up for you?
It's a little bit, when we look at soccer, everything has to line up. And when I decided to go to Sao Paulo and I started my career, I met my wife at work, you know, like a lot of things started to align until the moment that I received the possibility to join my brother. Even that, you know, like I truly believe that there's no luck. Actually, luck is when preparation finds opportunity. If you understand that, like that mindset, if you always prepare yourself, sometimes you don't know what the opportunity is going to come. Like when I was a soccer player, I thought the opportunity was to move to a first division team.
And to be the 1%, right?
To be the 1%, exactly. But sometimes you don't know what's going to come. You don't know the train that's going to pass.
But you were preparing yourself by going to school.
Exactly.
And we're like, okay, I do need a plan B, whereas a lot of people just kind of go with the one thing and that has a place too.
Yeah.
But you were kind of almost setting yourself up.
Exactly, because I wouldn't get my first job if I didn't have that marketing degree. Even starting with no experience. But if I didn't have that marketing degree, probably I didn't even get the interview, you know? So those little things and that mentality is something that I bring since I was a soccer player, being prepared, you know? I truly believe in networking. So you plant a lot of seeds, and it depends on you to like, how do you say, water the seeds, you know?
Of course, yeah. You have to water the
yeah, you have to
show up, you have to go meet people, you have to water those relationships.
Exactly. You have to talk with people, you have to show them that you care as well. And I met a lot of people in New York in 2010. And when my brother became 18, it was 2018, like 8 years after. He said, Pedro, before I start school, I wanted to go to New York. He was working in a retail company. He earned his money. He said, okay, let me spend 3 months in New York. He said, okay, I have friends there. You're going to arrive and you're going to work as well. So you're not just going to have fun. And I had a friend that worked in the restaurant business. He had a restaurant. He still has, and it's a really good one, called Berimbau. And I said, Mario, my brother is arriving tomorrow. Just put him to work doing anything. He's going to stay 3 months. He said, okay, of course. And then he got there, interviewed with Mario, and Mario didn't have any position for him. But he knew a guy that just opened Tapi. So my brother arrived 18 years old in New York and started working as a dishwasher at Tapi that just opened from Roberto, that just like a few months in. And he started working and living the life in New York. And I think he grew up looking, and we exchange a lot, like as brothers. Like as brothers, we're really, really connected. We talk, me and my brother in business, we talk every day, of course, but our middle brother, João, he's always connected with us too. So when Cleo started working with just a little of experience, working in retail, and he worked actually with my mom in Brazil. My mom used to sell cakes at the beach, like with a food bike. So she would make the cakes. My brother would go with her to help her sell. So he already had like the business, selling.
Like the hustle and the sale, like how to sell something.
How to sell something, and that's why he chose like business school.
Got it.
And he got a 100% scholarship in Brazil, but he wanted to go to the US. So he started working and showing his hustle. And Roberto, after he opened Tapi 6 months, his wife got transferred again to England. So he saw the situation that he just opened a business with family and friends investment. His wife just got transferred again to England. And now what's he's gonna do? He has a restaurant to run. And he looked at the team and said, I have to choose somebody that's going to be my right arm, or I'm going to close the business. He looked at this 18-year-old Cleo, said, you want to try this out? And Cleo said, but I have to go back to Brazil. I have school. I got a scholarship. And then, of course, we talked about it. He shared with us, talked with Roberto. He said, let's try 6 months. And then 6 months, he could like freeze his scholarship to start just the next year. And that's where everything started with Tapi. So he became Roberto's right arm in a restaurant business with like a chef that was like 40 years old, with teammates that were much older than him, and with a Brazilian brand in New York. That was really nice to see him like developing.
At this time, you're in Brazil.
At this time, I'm in Brazil. I'm living in São Paulo.
Okay.
So when I came back from New York in 2011, I came back in Rio. I just stopped my career of soccer, and I looked at the city and said, I need something like New York. And that's where São Paulo came in. I never been to São Paulo before that, but I looked in São Paulo as I looked in New York, as I said in the beginning. Like, São Paulo is the place, the big companies are there, you have people hustling. So I just went there. I got my first job in a marketing agency, like in my first week, and I started working in marketing agency. It was like a live marketing activation company, like promotional conventions, marketing activations, and I learned a lot. So that's where my career started in the marketing world.
So you're there in marketing, stepping into marketing.
Exactly.
Your younger brother's in New York at 18, stepping into this role of running Tapi
exactly.
Right now.
I prepared myself as well when Roberto and Cleo gets to me and says, Pedro, Roberto is in England. He can't help Cleo anymore. They want to expand. We want to expand. We need somebody, and we want you to join Cleo to expand the brand and bring more. We can see like an open ocean for the brand.
How soon after Cleo, your younger brother, was at Tapi, did they ask you to join?
I joined almost 3 years ago. So Cleo was like 4 years in the business.
Okay. So he made it through COVID.
He made it through COVID. Okay. So coming back to COVID was a challenge they had 3 locations already in New York. One at the Upper West Side, that's the first one. And Tapi had 2 booths, Brooklyn and Lower East Side. Of course, pandemic hit, they closed 2, they hold on to 1. And actually in 2021, they got a deal to open in Midtown. So even in pandemic, even with the struggle, keeping 1 location, they jumped on opportunity, a really nice deal to open in Midtown, believing that the market was going to come back. And there was still a big opportunity to expand, because what they were doing was already really good. Like holding on already 3 years almost in New York and crossing that barrier, like the first year, second year, you get to the third year, you understand that you had the possibility to open 2 other locations. My brother knew that there was something that needed to be done to expand in a faster pace, let's say. And Roberto was in England. He was actually moving back to Miami, but he couldn't have any more time to help Cleo, even at a distance. So that's where in 2022, they made me the invitation to be the CEO and my brother the COO of Tapi, and to join the team.
When they ask you this, though, you're in Brazil with 2 kids.
2 kids, 2 dogs, a wife.
And a career in marketing.
A career in marketing. I was account director in a really well-known agency.
Did you have to think about it when he asked you?
Of course we think about it. I brought it to the family. I brought it to my wife. And it wasn't my toughest decision in life. I think my toughest decision was stop playing soccer. But the biggest decision in life was
moving your whole family.
Moving my whole family and leaving my career almost behind to jump on top of this opportunity, you know. Mm-hmm. But it was the biggest, and it was easy to say yes. It's a big challenge, you know.
But I think it puts you back in that position of when you wanted to be, or when you were playing soccer, and you said that you liked that position because you felt responsible. Yeah. Well, now you're responsible for a whole family, and you're responsible for moving and becoming successful. Exactly. Otherwise, your wife's going to be very angry with you, and so are your kids.
Exactly. And she had a career as well in marketing. We met inside a marketing agency. We worked together, and she was an executive CMO of an agency. And we knew that this movement would need to focus right now at that moment in my career, and she would jump on the opportunity knowing that other things would open up for her here. And that's where everything aligned as well for us to make the decision, say, okay, let's...
Was she excited to move here or no?
She was excited. She never lived outside of Brazil. She actually had like a 3 months in San Francisco, but living outside for a long period, she didn't have that experience, and she wanted that experience as well. Okay. And for me, it was really important because I lived here when I was a child, and I always wanted my kids to have the opportunity that I had to grow up in the U.S.
Okay, so you wanted that for them. Okay.
I had that in me. They already studied in a bilingual school in São Paulo, but it's not the same, and I know the difference that the English made in my life, and in the diversity of relationships, like studying in a public school here, as I studied in Kennesaw, in Atlanta, Georgia, and I wanted that for them as well. So that made it even easier to make a decision saying, look, this is opportunity. Our kids it's 6, 7, and 6. Now they're gonna be 9 and 8, and already like speaking English and living here.
Is your wife happy now here? Like, is she well settled in? And
yeah, she's already settled in. Of course, in the beginning, it's a challenge. Even with the English for her as well. But she's already working. She has a day-to-day that she takes care of her as well. And there's already like a balance going on. Yeah.
Very good. Okay, so you guys are now in the United States, in New York particularly? No, you moved to Miami.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you moved to Miami now, and you're ready to start with your brother. You're CEO, he's COO.
Yeah. Basically, I worked with my brother 1 year before coming here, so from Brazil.
Okay.
So before we actually moved, I was like 1 month in New York, 1 month in Brazil, 1 month in New York, 1 month in Brazil.
Just to test it out, or just to help him get up there?
No, just to be inside the business. And the testing, that's a great part, because before I said yes to the opportunity, I came here, stayed 1 month with my brother, and I already of course, during his period, we exchanged a lot. So as a Brazilian, as an addicted to açaí that we grew up eating açaí, we grew up eating tapioca, we grew up eating pão de queijo. So in looking at the marketing perspective of the thing in the business, I already had the knowledge saying, look, this is actually a really, really big opportunity.
And knowing marketing, knowing people, knowing how to sell things, knowing how to run off people's emotions and what sells, what doesn't, colors, storytelling, all this.
Exactly.
You're coming in with that.
Details, the customer experience, the guest journey, And they already have a proof of concept of 4 years already. It's not something that let's...
Off the ground.
Off the ground, starting in New York from zero, let's do it. I stayed 1 month to look, like going to the stores, talking with the staff, because I didn't have any experience in the restaurant business. Cleo has all the experience on the operational side. And I think this mix, me bringing the marketing side of it, the corporate side of it, makes us, in these almost 3 years already, bring Tapi to 4 locations, 3 in New York, 1 now in Miami. And when we moved, we already knew that we wanted to come to Miami.
Okay.
So that's something that we didn't have any contract, no leases.
So when you moved here, when you moved your whole family here, you didn't have a Tapi location yet.
We didn't have
Miami.
a Tapi.
Only the 2 in New York.
3 in New York. Exactly.
And coming off of COVID, it was 2022.
Yeah, 2022 to 2023 when we moved, and we looked at New York, and we already knew that we wanted to come to Miami.
Why Miami?
Looking at what we were selling, like our concept as a whole, New York has a challenge in wintertime. So imagine that you have 3 months there that the temperatures comes down, and the açaí
is not like something people want.
Yeah, it's a challenge. It's 0 degrees Celsius outside. You're not gonna eat a açaí, but you can eat, of course, a tapioca sandwich, a pão de queijo. In Miami, you have like summer, good weather all year long. You have a healthy, conscious demographic. When we decided to come to Miami, we looked at Brickell specifically because of the foot traffic. Because of course, New York it's a huge foot traffic, but we understood that as a brand that people don't know about, it would be much better to be in a space where people are walking by and having the possibility to look, say, "Whoa, what is this?"
Was this your idea?
It was my idea, looking at the perspective of we have to bring attention to the outside of people walking.
But coming to Miami, was that your idea?
No, it was a decision already. Like everybody,
okay, it was already
all
on
the
the
partners. We have family and friends, investors until today that put the money with Roberto.
Okay.
So those investors, they come with us. Me and my brother, we take care of all the operational side. And we, of course, we're partners as well. But these investors that put money in 2017, of course, they're not wanting to see money right now, because who invests in a tapioca concept in New York? They know that the money is not going to come as a normal investment. Yeah. So they support the business. They already put more money during these years. But it's something that me and my brother, we have total autonomy to put the ideas that we want. And that's something that I love about it. You know, like when I worked in agencies, of course, we have brands, we have directors of the brands, we have a lot of people involved to make decisions. And when you become an entrepreneur, a restaurateur, that the possibility to put it out there and try and see if it works. If it doesn't work, you know, you can turn it on, turn it off.
It's freedom.
It's freedom.
You have more freedom to get things done.
Yeah.
And it's up to you how big or small you want to make this. Exactly. Whereas I think when you're in a corporate office, in a corporate world, it's very, I don't know, you got to go down a chain of command, you know? Like if you want anything done, it's got to go through like 5 emails and 3 people and, you know, and it just...
You have a little bit more politics. Mm-hmm. And all my career, I always had the sensation, and actually I put that in efforts, like to put on the jersey of the company. That's how we say in Brazil, like you put on the t-shirt, mm-hmm. you put on the jersey. And now when I jumped into Tapi, I saw the opportunity as well. Like I have a part of that jersey. It's not like you're working for...
You're not working for somebody else now. Exactly. You're actually working for yourself and
for the future that we want to build.
Yeah,
know?
It's in your hands now.
It's in our hands, yeah.
How was it working with your brother?
I love to talk about that because you can imagine my younger brother.
My entire family are entrepreneurs and all worked together growing up.
Yeah.
My parents in business together the whole time that they were married. Wow. And so I also worked in the family businesses growing up. So it's not easy.
It's not easy. Looking to the relationship with my brother, it's a pleasure to see him growing. Mm-hmm. And I'm joining him and being part of something bigger. And you can imagine, like, he's 12 years younger than me. I had a career in São Paulo, 12 years working in marketing agencies. And he's here in New York, working almost 24/7 because the restaurant is from Sunday to Sunday. See him like develop knowledge in challenging situations. For me, it's definitely a pleasure to work with him. And I understand that looking into like regular markets and situations, and I had people coming to me like, Pedro, you're going to work with your brother. You never worked. He's 12 years younger than you. He's just 23 at the time.
Well, here's the thing. I think I'm an older sibling as well. Okay. And so, but he's only 2 years younger than me. So like, but growing up, I was always like, you tell them what to do. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm the older brother. Yeah.
You know more, and you're just like, what are you, stupid? Like, you know, do it this way, or do you know, like that innate almost. I don't want to say this, and my brother hates when I say this, but it's like I'm. Sometimes I was like his mom, but like. Yeah. That's not what they want from us. That we're not their mom and dads, right? Exactly. They know you're my brother, you're my sister. Yeah. And so when working together, it's like that little bit of a tug of war that we used to have. And 12 years, I can only imagine.
Yeah, because I participated in his education. Yeah. You know, like I'm 15, he's 3. I'm 18, he's 6.
So now there are things that he knows that you don't know, that he can teach you now about Tapi before you're joining it now. He's probably like trying to tell you things and you're like, I'm taking direction from you. I'm listening to you.
You can have that sense, but similar to me, that I had to grow up really young as well, like playing soccer, traveling, living away from home, living underneath like the benches of a club, you know, a lot of challenges, and he had similar challenges.
Just
living
in New
around,
York,
in New
and
York,
didn't go to college. At
didn't
18
go
is over here
18.
building.
So he's like, when he's 20, 22, he already has a grown up mindset. So that helped a lot because he grew up really fast in the sense of a 20-year-old kid. People are in college at 20.
Did you see that though when you moved here? Like, did you acknowledge that
Yeah,
immediately?
I
You knew that.
I already knew that, but working with him, it's such a connection because being brothers, when I think something, he thought about it. He thinks something, I thought about it. I respond an email that he said, oh my God, I was going to respond the same thing. So it's and we're already 3 years in the game together, and has been a beautiful journey, and I think we're going to make it work for a long, long time, you know.
How do your strengths play with his weaknesses and his weaknesses play with your strengths?
Looking at the business as a whole, like he listens, of course, to me a lot, and that's naturally being the younger. But at the same time, we both acknowledge that I didn't have any experience in the restaurant business. I need to listen to him. When I bring an idea of a marketing campaign or a promotion, I go to him, say, do you think it's feasible? Because I'm being the creative here. And look at the agency. Normally the creative guys comes with an idea, then the production team say, look.
You're doing it all though now.
Yeah, and I'm doing everything. And the small business is good because we're wearing a lot of hats. We're still a small business, having 4 locations. It's a challenge. We already have.
And it's not a franchise.
It's not a franchise.
Right? 4 locations are your 4 locations, and you're running all of them.
Corporate stores, 40 employees. You know, so it's still a small business when you compare, but it's a lot of responsibility already. And we have investors like that we have to respond every quarter. We have to prepare the documents and everything. But coming back, that acknowledgement that he has the operational side and I have the like corporate marketing experience, we blend that together. We can bring to the market and to our concept and to our people a lot of different things, you know.
Yeah, you guys are able to bring your vision to fruition. Yeah, exactly. By aligning all those things.
All those things. And we can see the difference looking at the benchmarking, like the segment. We do integrations with all the teams. We get all the staff together from all the restaurants. We do like a little mini convention that I used to do it in Brazil. I said, Cleo, we have to get the staff together.
It's like a team building thing?
Team building thing, exactly. It's a day that we get everybody together to align what the company believes in, updates, bring celebration moments with the team. And we truly believe it's not just putting the guest and the customer in in the middle. We believe that we have to put our people in the middle for them to take care of our guests and therefore. So that mindset of putting people and doing those little movements with our staff and actually in the store and looking at the guest experience, that has been helping a lot for us to stand out in the market and see that we have a path to grow and being able to bring something different, unique to the community around us.
I'm sure there have been moments with working with family where there have been ups and downs in communication. What are some lessons that you've learned, or what are some things that you and your brother do now to make sure that your relationship with him as a brother continues to grow, but you're also really good business partners?
Communication is everything. And we have challenges every day that we think of. For example, we're going to put out a new protocol. We think people already know certain things, and we say, okay, let's just focus on this. And then when we put it out there, we say, we start receiving questions, and sometimes the basics has to be said, you know. So like the communication with me and my brother is totally transparent. We know the times that we have to talk about personal life, like talk about our mom, our brother, our soccer team. that's something that helps me and him. We cheer for the same team.
Okay.
And
what team is that?
It's Fluminense.
Okay.
And Fluminense is gonna play here in the World Cup, the Club World Cup FIFA
very exciting.
next June.
Mm-hmm.
And they're gonna play here in Miami and in New York.
Okay.
So basically,
both the cities. Yeah, you guys are gonna go. I'm sure you guys are gonna go.
We're gonna go. But those moments are really important for us to disconnect, and that's something that I bring to the table with him, is for us to balance our life. I believe that if you don't take care of you, like health comes before family and friends, and that comes before work. So you have to take care of you as a person, mentally, physically, to be able to take care of the ones that you love.
I always say that even to my husband, like it's just him and I. We don't have kids, we have 2 dogs. And I always say, I'm like, you have to do what you have to do for your mental peace of mind.
Yeah.
Like you can't take offense to me and I don't take offense to you. Like if he has to get up and go do something, like go do it. Like for me, I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, I have to meditate and go straight to my workout. I don't want anyone to speak to me because if you do and you mess up my morning, I'm not going to be a good wife, okay? Like, it's not going to be okay.
That's a lie.
Yeah, so it's like, I totally agree with you on that. And, like, you know, a lot of people look at me funny when I say that, though. They're like, you don't put your marriage first? I'm like, no, my health and my mental space is number one, but the same goes for him, too. I'm like, he has that time to himself. I mean, it doesn't happen until 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, and by then I've lived my whole day already.
That's me in my house.
And I'm ready to talk about the work and the business and this and that, right? And he's just like, I got to go to the gym. You know?
And my house is the same. I'm the early guy, do my thing, put the kids at school, and my wife wakes up later. Exactly.
And it's like by the time I'm ready to talk about things, he's like just getting started. And I'm like, okay, he has to do that for himself though. Like I get it.
Sometimes we have to be a little bit selfish.
Yes.
And it's hard to talk about that because if you say, "Oh, I'm being selfish," no,
I don't think selfish is a negative thing.
It's not. You have to see it as a positive.
As a positive thing.
And you think about, if I don't take care of me, how am I going to take care of my wife, my kids, my dogs, my family, my friends?
It bleeds into every relationship and everything in your life. Like, and also I think it's important when you have kids to teach them. They learn by what you're doing, right?
Exactly.
That it's okay to give to myself first. And moms, wives too, who are givers to the nth degree. You know, they'll take care of everybody but themselves. But your kids are watching you.
Yeah, they're watching. They're observing.
You need to be taking care of yourself first, and you're not getting a badge of honor for, you know, being the one who completely depletes themselves for their family. Like, no, take care of yourself. There's a saying, you know, I would die for my kids. Okay, would you live for your kids?
Perfect.
That's being healthy. That's taking care of yourself.
That's taking care. That's sustainability.
Yeah. So you're there when they're older and getting married and having kids. Like,
there's a moment for everything.
100%.
Yeah, and we bring that to the day to day as like that comes first. Like me and my brother, we start the day saying, "What time are we gonna go to the gym today?"
That's amazing.
Did you do the gym?
Does he live near you?
He lives in New York.
Oh, so he lives in New York and you live here. Okay, got it.
That's something that plays well as well. He's there, I'm here. Okay. We're back and forth. He comes down, I go up to New York because it's important to be in the game as well, going to the stores and everything. But we start our week, our day saying, how's your agenda?
Yeah.
What time Fluminense is going to play? Because we're not going to schedule nothing when Fluminense is playing.
Right.
Until today, even like soccer, knowing the bad things around the sports and everything, it's a passion.
Yeah.
And it's a moment that we turn off.
So you're brothers first. You guys are brothers first, and you still maintain that relationship. I mean, that's a very important point to note, because even I think this applies to even husbands and wives that are in business together, because I used to be in business with my husband, and like I didn't know this at the time. If I did, we would have been somewhere else. But I feel as though knowing, hey, at these moments we're talking about us and our life and this and that, and business shuts off. Because it's very easy to just constantly be, that person in front of you is reminding you of work, right? When you work together, it's like, you bring up stuff from Tapi probably, or you want to, right?
Yeah, we want to. We have to. Of course, it's not perfect. Sometimes one has to push the other. Sometimes we're talking with our brother from Brazil, and we don't want to talk about Tapi, and then Tapi comes, and then Tapi comes again. And sometimes I've intentionally said, Pedro, don't talk about Tapi.
Right. What decisions helped TAP stand out in a crowded New York City food scene? Miami, I could see the difference. I see you guys standing out, but I also see you fitting in with the acai bowl and stuff. But New York, what particular decisions were made that made it stand out?
I love that question. In looking to the challenges of having a Brazilian fast casual, 100% gluten-free concept in New York. There's a little detail, for example, a fun fact, that 3 years ago when I joined, Tapi had the sandwiches called tapioca crepes.
Crepes, okay.
Because the format it's similar to a crepe. And looking at the menu, you can imagine a Brazilian concept in New York with a French word.
Yeah.
That's the first thing.
Confusing.
It's a confusion.
Yes.
And when you look at the customer behavior of when do you eat a crepe, it's not every day, and it's not every time of the day. You have to think about, okay, today let me get that Brazilian crepe that they sell. And I brought to the table with Cleo saying, look, if we change the word crepe to something that everybody can relate and want, what does America eat any time of the day? Sandwich. So we changed the name, tapioca crepes, to tapioca sandwich. We grew 30% in sales in that category.
Wow.
Just understanding that
the market
that resonates even more with the community around us. So we look at the menu, we look at the word, we look at the ingredients, you know. When we look at the inside the restaurant, we truly believe in the guest experience. So it's not just, I don't want people to just go into Tapi and eat a pão de queijo and leave and be transactional. It has to have an experience. If not, people are not going to talk about it. People are not going to come back. Imagine the competition, as you said, in New York and Miami. You have a lot of options, and we have something that's unique. It's different. So when people go, they have to have the best experience possible. So we have the Brazilian playlist, we have the smell, we have the guest warm, welcoming everybody. We have the big smile in our staff. We have the pictures. That's a Brazilian photographer. That
flag.
The little flag, the graffiti artist that we brought from the slums of Rio de Janeiro, just to come to New York and Miami to do the graffiti inside the stores. And that all together are details that makes the experience, makes people come back, makes people talk about it. And in our restaurant industry, that I don't like the word, but it's, as I said, it's a people industry, but looking at the restaurant segment, people are looking for experience or convenience. And if you don't focus on that, you're gonna be left behind. In the market, looking at our concept, we can see a lot of opportunities. People already think we're a franchise.
I mean, when I look at your stuff and your Instagram page and everything, you look, I thought you were, which is a compliment.
It's a compliment, yeah. We love the idea. We actually are thinking, we have that on our roadmap to try to think about and franchise the business in other cities that we're not in. For now, we're focusing in New York and Miami. We still think we have a lot of room to grow 20 stores in New York, 20 stores in Miami.
Before franchise.
Before franchise. Or if we receive every week like emails of people wanting to open in Austin, Texas, in California, in Canada, in Europe, in DC, in Atlanta, Georgia, in Orlando. We can see the potential, but at the same time, we want to do things in the right pace, you know? We can't overexpand.
No.
Everything that we do internally, like operational wise, putting everything standardized.
Well, I'm sure there's not a fully documented process in place right now. You're building that right now.
We're building. Coming to Miami was a challenge. We just had opened Astoria in September of 2023. So imagine 8 months building a new store outside of Manhattan that me and Cleo, we put our we brought to the investors saying, look.
This was your third location in New York.
Third location. Okay. And when I joined in 2022, like a few months after, we already saw this opportunity and we brought to the table and we convinced all the investors saying, look, we know that we have 2 locations in Manhattan and that's where everybody wants to be, but there's here an Astoria one. Astoria is the most diverse neighborhood in the US. A lot of great restaurants. This is a great opportunity. And we got that, and we took 9 months to open. We opened in September 2023. In October 2023, Roberto was already living here in Miami. he was walking down the street in Brickell, saw the space that we're in right now, saw that it was leasing, called the landlord. 2 days after, we were sitting in Miami,
wow,
shaking hands and jumping in front of 3 great concepts that the landlord already had like almost in place. And that for us, being still a small business, you know, like, but of course, coming from New York and telling the story, and it's not just a story, it's facts, and in 6 years already in the market and everything, the landlord said, okay, I think you guys are going to succeed and let's make it happen. And we had to decide to sign a new contract 1 month after opening a new location in New York. What helped us? I was already here. Yeah. I already was here like 2 months with my family. So like everybody said, okay, Pedro's already here. But we didn't have structured nothing to already put in place. We thought that we were going to open Miami and start looking for a space like in 2024. Mm-hmm. But things happen. We have to be prepared.
You were prepared. Yeah, you were prepared. There's no luck there.
There's no luck there. There's
you were already here. It was there.
And we're already thinking and putting things in place that when this opportunity arrived, we would be
ready.
At least ready to move forward. We're still learning. We still have logistics coming from New York. Imagine we have a commissary kitchen in New York. We're already shipping things to Miami. We produce part of the things here, but it's a different game, you know? And there's a lot of costs and savings in the margins. And that's something, I'm already almost 3 years in the business, and every day is a challenge. Every day I'm learning something. Every day we're listening and looking at the market and seeing what other restaurants are doing. It's going to be easier to choose a new location here and to continue to grow, because the people that we have together inside our team are also people that we believe in, that we're training, that we're putting in the game. Because if you don't have the people,
it's not going to work.
You can't manage a restaurant.
Yeah, if you don't invest in your people, then they're not going to. They're not going to perform for you the way
they're
that you
not going to perform.
They're not going to care.
They're not going to care. And what I learned in the marketing agency, I had a leader once that said, Pedro, your growth is going to be my growth. And that's something that I bring to my life, and I talk to my team every time. It's not me that I'm not the one that's going to grow. If you grow, I'm going to grow like it's going to be a consequence.
That's so true, though. And people, I don't think entrepreneurs always think like that. They always think that like, I know, and I need to get my bottom line, and I owe the banks, or I owe the investors.
Yeah,
and
it's like me.
Yeah, and you forget that like, hey, if I help you, I also think it's a fear. I think a lot of entrepreneurs are fearful. Like if they grow, in the sense that they think like growing is in all areas of life, right? Yeah. But also growing within the company and learning new things and becoming better at your skills so you can be a better person of the company. But entrepreneurs think if they grow, then they're going to leave. Yeah, and then I just invested all this money and time into training this employee, and then they're going to leave and go do something else. And it's like, that's not a good way to look at it. I don't think you'll ever be successful if that's how you look at it.
No, you have to understand that you have to have people better than you around you.
Yes.
You know, like me and Cleo, we want to bring soon a HR person. That knows even more about people than we do.
You nailed it. No, and I say that to my husband all the time. Like even in his company, what he does, and with what I do, like I try to do things on my own. I always try first.
Yeah.
But a reason is that because I want to put myself in those shoes. So like Cleo, your brother, like he knows from the ground up, from dishwasher to this, what each person that he's hiring for is what they're doing.
Exactly.
I have done the same thing with every business that I've started, every business that I ran, every job that I've had since I was a kid, including the show. Like I have tried to do all of this to some extent. But then you always sit back and say, no, I want someone who's better than me. I want someone who's smarter than me. Yeah. I want to surround myself with people that I can learn from, not so that I do it, but so that you understand like what it is that you're asking them to do. Yeah. The worst is when you have a boss who hasn't done what you're doing.
Yeah, you're not going to have empathy with the staff, and at the same time, it's a pleasure to see people internally grow. And
it's fulfillment.
Because
every human, if they see progress and see, you're going to be fulfilled when you see progress in yourself. So if you help your people progress in life in any skill, they're going to be happy and they're going to be fulfilled.
Yeah, exactly. It's to bring a parallel with sports. It's like you're running a marathon. The mindset's not I want to cross the finish line first or by myself. I think and that's something that me and Cleo, we have, and we talk about, like the more people we have crossing that line with us, it's going to make the difference. You know, we're in two big cities that there's another aspect of that we have a lot of immigrants working with us. We have a lot of people with different backgrounds, people that were lawyers, people that had businesses in Brazil, and they threw up everything and came to the US. Having a day-to-day with these different individuals, this diversity of cultures, even we have a lot of Brazilians. I can say like 90% of our staff are Brazilians, but I have a Filipinian guy that's the manager of Midtown. I have a Costa Rican guy that works as assistant manager in New York. And all those things together, it comes a responsibility, but at the same time, we have to exchange. So me and Cleo, we were like open books with our staff. We want to become even more. Like the other day, me and Cleo were talking about, like, we want to open, what are the numbers that we can open with our staff, with our leaders, to bring even more of them to the game, you know? We're not talking about equity, but we hope so, that someday we can get there. Yeah. How can we show them even more where we are, where we want to go? How can they get a piece of it so that they're more incentivized to perform and to do well? Yeah, exactly, because it's tough. Every day, 7 days a week, you have staff relying on you. Yeah. You have guests coming in every day. Today, I can tell you that in all 4 locations, we have more than 1,200, 1,400 people eating tapi every day. Wow. And only 12% are Brazilians. Wow. So that's, for us, it's a game changer. Have you ever gotten close to giving up on any of your ventures? Besides giving up my soccer career. In the entrepreneur world. That's okay. It all worked out, though. It's okay. It all worked out. That was your hardest one. Yeah. The hardest decision. There's something that we didn't talk about yet, but there's a brand that we created called Banana Boost. And that came after I already joined Tapi, and we were looking inside the menu and saying, what else that we could bring from Brazil that could stand out here in the US market and that we could impact positively. And we got to the bananinha. So basically, bananinha is a banana snack that we normally grew up eating in Brazil. We have tons of, a dozen of brands, but normally we eat it in Brazil as a sweet because it has sugar on the outside. And basically we got to the point that we took out the sugar, and we also created a version with açaí on the outside. We got a manufacturer in Brazil, we got the recipe, and it's just bananas. So it's a snack, 3 bananas inside. Wow. So it's a boost of potassium. Potassium, yeah. We said, okay, if we're gonna import this and we're gonna create this product, we should give it a name. We should do a packaging. And we got to Banana Boost. Because it's a boost of bananas and a boost of potassium, and it's an English word, and it's easy to say, and it already delivers the functionality of what it is. And we created the packaging, and it got to a point that we said, okay, this can't just be selling inside Tapi. We could sell this on Amazon, for example. So when we imported it, we created the brand. We put on Amazon, we started to sell, and that is a different partnership that I'm a co-founder, my brother's a co-founder. We got 3 other investors, also from Tapi, that joined. So it's a different brand, it's a different company, but it's still a product. But it's in a different segment. It's retail. It's retail. It's a different game. Yeah. It's an e-commerce brand. And I'll tell you that during 1.5 years, I was putting the effort towards the brand. I was talking with the manufacturer. I was talking to import the product, to produce, to put on Amazon, to put on social media and everything. Probably taking away from Tapi, though. Taking away from Tapi. And at the same time, we're growing with Tapi. Open Astoria, open Miami, a lot of things going on. And it gets to a point that I say, oh my God, I believe so much in this company. But at the same time, we have to have somebody working on it. It's a different game. So that is something that I already stopped and thought about, and it's still in my head. We're still with the brand. We opened the brand in Brazil, in the US. we already closed in Brazil.
Banana Boost.
Banana Boost.
Okay.
Because we want to focus in the US, because Brazil already have different brands. Even acknowledging that we're bringing to the market a super snack version.
A healthier version.
A healthier version, a lifestyle product that people can take with them. They can put in the purse. It's just bananas. It's 3 ingredients. It's bananas, banana flour, and a natural conservative. Mm-hmm. So when you look at the protein bar segment and all the options out there, there's like 30 ingredients in a protein bar.
I read everything, by the way. I read every label of everything that I eat. And I'm disgusted by everything that I see.
We don't even know what's inside.
No.
And Banana Boost is, looking at that aspect, is something that I truly believe that we're still going to have the possibility to expand. We were actually with Banana Boost in India last month.
I was going to say, I feel like that's a good market.
They love fruits.
That's a good market for Tapi too, by the way.
Exactly.
I'm telling you right now.
Okay.
The acai bowl thing and the tapioca, because they're familiar with tapioca. So the tapioca sandwich, and you sandwich over there because they think it's American.
Yeah.
And then the third thing, which I really want to try because you make it sound so tasty. What is? How do you say it?
Banana Boost?
No.
The pão de queijo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was cheese and like
It's just cheese and tapioca and 3 blends of cheese.
You guys would do very well there.
Yeah.
Very
Hopefully we're going to get there.
And Banana Boost would do well there too.
Yeah, exactly. And so
let me put it this way. There's like what, 3 or 4 billion people in India now?
Imagine
like
that.
You could sell anything there and it's gonna sell. Okay, there's more than enough people.
There's more than enough people.
It's going to. It's like a standing joke. Like you want to make money and just a safe market, go put it there.
Yeah, just put it there.
Yeah.
And we were with a sales representative in India last month in the biggest food retail show. Mm-hmm. And we got a lot of great feedbacks, and let's see what happens. But that's something that comes to mind about giving up and being challenged. And
so Banana Boost has been a challenge because Tapi's also growing right now.
And if you don't put the effort, the energy or the time, because it's still a product, it's not a company. And for it to grow, it has to become a company.
Right.
You have to have people in place. If not, you just have a good idea. You have a proof of concept that we participated in wellness events, and you can see the American public like eating, saying, wow, I never ate something like that.
Where can you get Banana Boost right now?
Right now at Tapi locations.
New York and Miami.
New York and Miami. And we are on Amazon, but right now with the stock just finished. So probably if you're listening, check
by then it
probably,
should be out. Yeah.
Probably Amazon. And let's see if we're going to get to Whole Foods.
So do all of them, I'm intrigued by this Banana Boost thing. Do all of them have this acai thing on top, or it's just...
We have 2 flavors.
You have 2 flavors. Okay.
One is just bananas.
Okay.
And the other one is bananas with the acai on the outside. So it gives like a unique texture and antioxidants from the acai. It's 2 flavors that we put in the market, but we already have talking with the manufacturer, we have like a protein option. We have a creatine Banana Boost option.
Is there added sugar, or is it just the sweetness from the bananas?
No added sugar.
Okay, well that's
just
good.
The sweet. We have sugar from the bananas.
That's fine.
It's like 3 bananas in one, but yeah, it's a really great snack even for kids. Taken to school.
I'm thinking about myself right now.
Yeah. No,
okay, I'm always looking for things that I don't have added sugar.
Pre-training, post-training, working just in the middle of that.
Potassium's a mineral. Like we need that in our bodies.
Exactly. Another thing that's really interesting to talk about is we're every day serving thousands of people. Sometimes, for example, a bad review comes up or a guest doesn't have the best experience. And sometimes people panic, like, oh my God, I get a call from a manager. Look, the guest is coming out, he just left here. He was not satisfied. So just look out for a bad review on Google if this is what happened and everything. And early in my life, being a goalie, the other thing that I learned is that we have to have resilience. And the coach that I'm lucky that I had that told me, Pedro, you're going to get scored. No matter what you do, the ball is going to pass. And you have to have your head up and you have to look to the next. If you get scored and you just put your head down, it's going to keep scoring. And you have a team. So all those things together, and I had a struggle on that in the beginning, I got to a game, we got scored 15 minutes in. The rest of the game was awful because I was always thinking I should have done this or I should have done that. If I stepped this way, if my hand would go faster, you know, everything was in my head until this coach had to continue every day telling me, Pedro, you're gonna get scored. You have to do your best, but you have to understand that the important thing is how do you respond to that? How do you
not react, right?
No, how do you respond and show your teammates that, okay, the game continues.
Right.
That's something that I learned and I brought to my career. And today, as the CEO of Tapi, with my brother, I think that's something in a day-to-day that I try to bring to the staff and to our leadership. Like,
things are going to happen.
Things are going to happen.
We're going to get bad reviews. Someone will be unhappy no matter what we do. Yeah, it's okay.
Exactly. We have to understand, like, and assume that, okay, we have 1,000 people coming in. If one person didn't get a good experience, let's understand and let's address it. Let's get better. Let's understand that things are going to happen, you know? And I think looking at, as an entrepreneur, looking not only in the restaurant industry, I think any entrepreneur or people working, that's a mindset that we should work on. You know?
I think resilience is one of the most important things in any area, but especially entrepreneurs, where you're going to fall on your face 100 times. Yeah. Now, if you spend time looking at that and going, poor me, you're going to miss all the opportunities. Yeah, exactly. Just like you said, like if you're too focused on the person that you didn't serve right in your restaurant or whatever, what have you not, you're not taking that time and energy could be spent on, let's fix the problem.
Let's get better.
Let's not let it happen again and move on, because you still have more customers coming in the door that you need to focus on and be on your A game for, just like your game. But I think that's a very good lesson there. Perfect. Absolutely.
Yeah. And sometimes the feedback is going to be negative, but at the same time, we're going to understand, like, okay,
I'm not gonna make everybody happy.
We're not gonna make everybody happy. That's
no
perfect.
Matter what your product is, no matter what service you have to offer in this world, or what your career is, like, you're not gonna make everybody happy. Yeah. That's the reality.
That's the reality, and you have to face it. If you wanna make everybody happy and enjoying, people are gonna come saying, "What is açaí?
Yeah,
no, this looks like dirt or something." Yeah. And you have to understand. Okay, it tastes. You can't discuss taste, you know, like people.
It's a preference.
It's a preference, you know. Yeah.
And you cater to the ones who are for it, and the ones who aren't, they just don't have to come. It's fine.
You have to understand if it's an operational thing that we should get better, or if it's just a taste and said, okay, we respect that, and let's just continue doing what we're here to do. You know?
I'm gonna have these are like questions I ask everybody.
Okay.
So, what drives you today? Like, what motivates you today to do what you do with Tapi and Banana Boost? Why do you get up in the morning and do it?
As an entrepreneur, I think there's a responsibility of bringing Brazil and that challenge to bring a Brazilian concept to the U.S. market. That's something that challenges me every day.
You want to make it more mass and
I want more people to know about it. I want more people to try it. I want more people to give feedbacks for us to get better, you know? And that's something that moves me as an entrepreneur and as a person as well. Like, if we don't take care of ourselves, like even healthy wise and mentally, we're not going to be able to address in our professional life, you know. So,
what's a fun fact about you that most people don't know?
Fun fact.
Besides the fact that you're an ex-professional soccer player, I think it's super cool.
Sports is with me through my life, and I love to play anything or practice anything. I do gym, I do swimming, I do foot volley.
Very athletic.
Still
to this day.
Still until this day. And I think foot volley is a sport that a lot of people don't know about, and I love to practice. And
do you play here?
We play here in Miami.
Oh, really?
Yeah, around 3rd Street. Every Saturday and Sunday, there's a Brazilian community and that plays foot volley.
Is this in Brickell?
In South Beach.
South Beach, okay.
South Beach, exactly.
Wow.
They play in Coconut Grove as well. And
how do you say foot volley?
Foot volley. Yeah, so it's a mixture of beach volleyball, but you can't use your hands, so you have to use soccer skills.
Okay.
So it's really challenging, and there's the competitive side of it.
Well, for you, it's like you explained before, because you were a goalie. not the one running around on the field.
Yeah.
So even for you, it's challenging.
It's challenging, and I love it because as a goalie, I had a lot of vertical jump, right?
Yeah.
So
to get off the ground to catch the to like block the ball.
So I have a big vertical jump.
Yeah.
Like normally higher than normal people playing. So that helped me a lot in foot volley.
Oh,
so
wow.
I can jump higher over the net and kick the ball.
Wow.
So that's a sport that I love to play, and I want to continue to play, and it's great.
What do you do for yourself that fills your own cup up first?
I'm a day person, and so if I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is to take my kids to the bus stop, and that's something I love to do because I used to get the yellow bus when I was a kid. So they get the yellow bus, and after that, the first thing is to exercise. So or I'm running, or I'm in the gym, or I'm swimming. And now I'm gonna run with my brother the half marathon. So
in New York.
In New York, and being prepared for the day, you know. So that's something that I have to do. If I don't do it, the mood of the day is gonna be different, you know.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
If someone told you that you couldn't do Tapi anymore or Banana Boost, what would you be doing?
I would be going back to my career in marketing.
Here or in Brazil?
If I had the opportunity to stay here, I would stay here.
Stay here, okay.
I love my Brazilian roots, and it's always I get sometimes this question, but Pedro, you're Brazilian, but you're now in the US. Do you miss Brazil and everything? And I miss the people. Sometimes, of course, my friends and I have a lot of family and everything, but looking down the line, I think the US, you have a lot of other opportunities that we can impact positively. And if I had the opportunity, I would be working with marketing and getting back to where I was before, entrepreneuring.
And staying in the States.
Staying in the States, yeah.
Looking back on your entire life, what was one of the happiest moments?
Happiest moments, of course, was my daughters coming to life, you know?
Right. Personally, like something outside of kids and family.
Outside of kids and family, I think.
I say personally, like as if kids are not personal. I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean it like that.
Happiest moment in my life, I think, is joining my brother, you know? I think we talked a lot about that, but having him as a partner and as a friend, as a brother, you know?
You're very lucky.
I'm very lucky. We talk about that a lot. Like, we have the luck in that part.
Yeah.
We're prepared. The opportunity came.
You have preparation and luck at this point.
Exactly. I think even for the investors in Tapi, like having me and my brother together, as you said, we have two families that are all in something that we truly believe in. And if it wasn't, I think, the mix of what we have as a concept, if we were selling anything else, you know, like we play around like a tool company selling nails and hammers, it wouldn't be this connection, you know?
Yeah.
We're selling something that we believe, we're selling our country, we're together. And so for me, the happy moment is it's being here with him, with my family, and trying to continue this path.
You really transformed your entire life. You know, you took all the lessons and things that you've learned as a professional soccer player and then just built yourself up into this extraordinary CEO, and now you're growing not just in Tapi but also Banana Boost with your family, trying to get the third one on board as well.
Yeah.
I think that's incredible.
A lot of things still ahead of us.
Yeah, of course.
We're still in the day-to-day learning and being challenged and challenging everybody around us. So we're really.
Listen, I have no doubt that Tapi will continue to defy the odds across the country.
Thank you so much.
You guys will get there for sure.
Really happy to share this with you. And,
thank you very much.
Being able to come back in my career. It's a part that we should sometimes
take a step back
to
look back at everything that you've done and all the things that have had to happen to bring you here to this moment. And I think it also helps acknowledge when you think about all the people in your life that were along for the journey, right? Like your wife and your kids. I'm sure your wife had to sacrifice a lot along the way as well for this to work, and probably still does. And your parents and your family members and even your brother, and like all the chances that you guys took together to get here. You know?
Yeah, exactly. And I think something to share is we can't lose the possibility of celebrating the small achievements and the wins during the path.
Yeah, because life's happening now, right? See, I grew up in a family where my dad always put happiness and fun things. Oh, we'll do this then. We'll do this when we hit this. Or, when you're 16, we'll celebrate your birthday. We'll do this. And I don't agree with that, But seeing other families and other people like yourself who are like, no, like you gotta. It's a journey.
It's a journey.
And you do have to take time out to enjoy the journey. Yeah. And you do have to take time out to water the relationships in your life, whether they're professional or family or friends. Because at the end of the day, life is about people and it's about relationships.
Yeah. And success, I think it's the journey,
Success, As I get older, that's how I feel. I feel like there's no end game here.
No, there's no end game.
It's more fun to go through it. If someone were to say like, Nina, if I got my end goal already, then what would I do? I have no idea.
No, and the rest is like what's coming after that is it's a consequence of what you're doing now and what you're learning, what you're executing on what you've came through, like your past and what the experience that you overcame, So I think that's.
I agree. Beautiful story. Where can people find you and find Tapi and find Banana Boost?
Okay. Tapi, our Instagram is eat_Tapi on Instagram. LinkedIn, I'm a LinkedIn guy, so I like to share there. I'm sharing starting to share more. So Pedro Uchoa, you're going to find me. And Banana Boost is Eat Banana Boost on Instagram. So we're focusing on those. We have the TikTok account as well for Tapi. We're trying to understand more the platform. And
it's an interesting platform.
Yeah, you have to have time to dig into it. And of course, I'm the marketing guy. I love to be.
Yeah, that's a challenge for you. You get in there.
It's a challenge. It's a challenge. Yeah.
That's incredible. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.